Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. Oh, hell no.
I teach that slavery tampered with nature. When I say that slavery tampered with nature, I mean that a major rite of passage for every male mammal is to provide and protect for a female and her young. Now, certainly we know that the black man has been denied that opportunity. He has not been allowed to qualify to protect his woman or provide for them. They have told us that the only provision that the black man is qualified to give us is one of money. And we have made finance the major focus of our relationships with them. We have made the one thing that most of them don't even have be the criteria. We have been taught that if they do not give us money, that we are not to even allow them to be a father to their child. We have been taught that if he does not give us money, then he is not qualified to tell us what to do. We have been taught that if he does not give us money, that he doesn't have any rights in the home. It's whoever is making the money who has the rights. That's not our system. The black man provides more in a black home than just financial support. He provides direction, guidance, gratification, fulfillment, and discipline for our children.
Hi guys, it's Yanie and I'm back with another video. Sorry you guys, I've been a little MIA because I've been sick. I think I caught the flu and so I was just real stuffy and I couldn't even do a voiceover. But I wanted to hop on here and do commentary on this entire situation because we see this time and time and time and time again. So when speaking on this Lira Galore and Pete Thompson situation, this is a prime example of what I call self-destruction within the black community. And you know, it's really sad to see this play out from both parties. Because one thing that I'm tired of seeing is seeing black women place blame on black men and then black men place blame on black women. You shifting blame on either party does not create a solution. And time again, we keep shifting blame and we get nowhere. Nothing is resolved. The differences are still there and there's no room for understanding from either party. And this is what I don't agree with. Now, when it comes to Pete Thompson, he is not innocent. I don't agree with his behavior at all. And it is alleged that he was abusive. It is also alleged that Lira was doing drugs while she was pregnant. It is all alleged. But let me go ahead and weigh in and give you my opinion. I've seen the text messages. I'm going to go ahead and post them for you guys to read. So let me go ahead and get into these text messages first, and then I'll be back for the remainder of my commentary. So after Lira Galore ran to TMZ making abusive claims, slandering his name, Pete Thompson decided to defend himself by making this post to his Instagram because he was receiving a ton of backlash and hate from her fans on Instagram. So he took to his Instagram and wrote, "One thing I don't play about is my fatherhood. I have 16 artists on my label. I still make time to see my children 4 times out of the week. The only women I leave my children with are their mothers and the women I was engaged with. I wasn't going to address this, but I'm just tired of seeing my child's mother try and slander me as though I'm so unfit. No, I'm not perfect, but if anyone knows me, they know I go hard every day so my children will never have to go through what I've been through. She can deny her bad drug habits and her toxic, aggressive behavior all she wants, but the truth of the matter is that I've tried to do nothing but help her. This is obviously a $15 million shakedown from an angry woman who is down to her last and clearly upset because a failed attempt to get her child support switched to LA, therefore she'd accumulate more each month versus Georgia. I've never once beat on that woman. Did I take my ring back? Yes. When I became aware she was having sex with other men, plotting with her pimp as well as snorting coke while pregnant with my child, what man would not want their ring back? I have not seen my child since Father's Day. Why? Because the root of all evil, money. I have text messages as well as proof that we were on pretty fair terms until she realized she was not going to benefit as she once was when we were together. People that know me and her know the truth. This is my last time speaking about this situation. Hopefully we can keep this matter out of the public eye for the sake of our daughter having to look back and see. A wise man once told me, when you lay down with pigs, you get mud all over you. Yes, he was right. P.S. Everyone know who my children's mothers are. Ask them. So after he wrote that long caption, you guys, he also attached several text messages exposing Lira Galore for being a frequent drug user and also that she has had 5 abortions. Now she is making claims that these text messages are fake, so she's denying everything, and she also made a post to her Instagram coming across that she's unbothered because the text messages are not real. But I don't know really what's 100% true and what's not. It's basically his word against hers and vice versa. So when it comes to this entire situation, I really just feel bad for the child, because that's the person that's going to be affected by all of this, is her, and hopefully they can come to some form of agreement as far as who gets time with her, when, and how they're going to co-parent, because the child is what matters, and they really need to take themselves out of the situation and stop making this a showdown, her against him or him against her. I don't believe Lira Galore should be receiving $15 million. I think that's absolutely ridiculous, because it doesn't make any sense. If you really wanted to get justice, I don't understand why you're only looking for monetary value. Why wouldn't you go get justice and file a police report, or go to the courts and file a restraining order? Or why, I don't understand why you ran to TMZ. Like, that's what's throwing me off, is why run to TMZ? It just comes across as if she is very money hungry and she's only after him for his money, and then she wants full custody, and it's like she just wants to take her money and her daughter and run, and that's not fair to her daughter. She's all about herself, and I really think it has a lot to do with her keeping up this persona that she portrays herself to be on social media, and that she has to keep up with, because once you put yourself out there that you got it like that, you have to keep that up. You have to keep that persona up, if it's real or if it's fake, whatever. She has to keep that up on Instagram, and so 15 million will definitely help her do that. When it comes to Pete Thompson, my only thing that I can really say about him is you did it to yourself, sir. I mean, you put yourself in this position. What men need to understand is that you have the power to plant that seed. It's up to you who you plant that seed in. It's not up to the woman. So if you are going through hell and back because of a woman that you planted a seed in, you have to think back to why did you do that to yourself, sir? Because you did it to yourself. And then it's very hard to respect a man who plants seeds in women, in several women, and then leaves them as single mothers, and that's like your thing, and if it wasn't for that, I would have a little more compassion for this man and his current situation. But I'm just like, sir, you brought all of this on yourself. So I just wanted to show this text thread and give you guys a little insight on, a backstory on how this all came about, how it hit the blogs. But now let's go ahead and get back to my commentary so I can fill you in on how I feel about this situation, because we see this a lot within our community, and to me it's self-destruction, because there are no benefits when it comes to the situation, not for our community, not within the households that this man is creating by dropping seeds in 5 different women. It's like, come on, sir, like, get it together. So let's go ahead and get back to my commentary. So I'm going to wrap up my commentary by saying this. In the beginning of this video, I added a clip by Shahrazad Ali, and she wrote a book called The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. And that was back in 1991. And I really advise that you get into her material. If you look up on YouTube, there's so many videos of her doing speeches, and she did a ton of public speaking. She was an activist, and a lot of the things that she spoke about during that time back in the 90s, we are a product of that today. And when you look around, that's all you see, and what I need Black women to understand, receiving financial support from a man is important. It's very, very, very important. It's necessary because we have to use that resource for us to survive, and a lot of times when I see Black women, their intent behind needing that resource is all about self. It's not so much about the child. It's not so much about the future of the child. It's all for self. It's all for nails, hair, clothes, shoes. Now, a lot of people like to argue that, well, white women and racially ambiguous women, they want the same things. I feel like majority of those women, they seek that resource for success. Like they seek that resource for future investments. It's not so much about self. They'll actually save the money. They'll actually put the money in a trust fund. A lot of Black women are not financially literate to even understand what to do with the money or how to budget the money, etc. Now it's like we seek men for money, but we only seek men for money for self. And that's just me being honest. Now, I don't feel like it's gold digging to require a man to be a provider, but I recently noticed that some Black women don't even know the difference between a man that has money and a man who is a provider, because those are two different type of men. A man who is a provider is going to give you everything that you need, and you're never going to go without. A man with money, he may give you something here and there. He may even spoil you for a little while. But a man with money can be very selfish. A provider will never be selfish. A provider is not about self. So I need Black women to understand the difference, because these other races of women, they understand the difference between a man with money and a man who is a provider. So you get different things from the type of man that you're dealing with. When it comes to Black men, my issue with Black men is that there's not enough stepping up. There's not enough stepping up and fulfilling leadership positions desperately need within the Black community. And, people expect for me to use my platform and tell Black women, oh, get you a Black man. But when I look up, I don't see too many leaders when it comes to Black men. I don't see a lot. And, a lot of people like to argue with me about that. And I have to generalize because I have to make a bold statement when I say it. I don't see too many leaders among Black men. I see a lot of followers. And that's the scary part, because when we look to these men, we look to them to lead us. We're supposed to be submissive to men. Especially when it comes to wanting a provider man. If you don't want a provider man, this conversation is not for you. But we're supposed to look to men for leadership, for guidance, for direction, and we're not getting that. So I think it would be very ignorant of me to tell Black women, oh, get you a Black man. No, get you a man, regardless of color, who is going to lead you and guide you and direct you in the path that you feel that you need to go based off of your beliefs, your morals, your principles. And that's how I decide to, mentor women, is that, it's not about color. It's about the type of man that you're dealing with. And I really need black men to step up. I really need Black men to step up and fulfill their role as a man and take on the role as a leader. So when it comes to this conversation, these two are creating self-destruction among the Black community, because too many times I see as Black people, we focus so much on giving our kids materialistic things that they outgrow, that we overlook things like guidance, discipline. We overlook things like emotional support. We overlook things like, are both parents active in that child's life? We overlook those things because we're so focused on giving them things that we never had, like a nicer car to ride in than what we did when we were kids, or a bigger house to grow up in than we did when we were kids. But then we're missing principles and values and discipline and guidance, and then we wonder why our youth is walking around and they don't even know how to police themselves when it comes to what's right, what's wrong, what's appropriate, what's not. So what do I want from this video? I want my people, I want Black men, Black women to start taking accountability. I need us to start self-educating. Stop relying on what they give us. And I say they because I'm speaking on this patriarchal system, this westernized society that we live in. Stop depending on them to educate us. Let's get out here and start educating ourselves. Let's also acknowledge the fact that we have gone through a lot. Both Black men and Black women, we have gone through a lot. And a lot of times we like to kind of not acknowledge the fact that as people, both men and women, we have gone through things and we haven't acknowledged them. We haven't taken accountability. We haven't taken control. And that's what I want to see more of moving forward. And I want to see less of this. I see more situations like this nowadays when it comes to Lira Galore and Pete Thompson than I see, you know, a structured Black family. I really want to bring back the Black family structure, because they broke that up intentionally because of the civil rights movement. And I need y'all to understand that it's an important key to our history and why we are the product of what we are today. So that's all that I have regarding this video. I would love your thoughts and opinions, so please comment them down below. And if you haven't, hit that notification bell, subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next one.